Peace.
Peace.
This is Jahshamel Law, Mr. PhD. You're just now entering the cipher called Real2reel360. K-Wise.
Peace, God.
Bring that beat in, kid.
Indeed.
Peace.
Yeah. What's going on, party people? Welcome to the Real2reel360 show. Let's get it in.
We do the knowledge and wisdom so you can understand. Real360 shows in full command. We changing the game for how it all was taught. From bondage to freedom to an independent thought. Yo, the show is here to bring about a change for real. To lighten everyone so we all know the deal. 360 degrees is a fact. We created the show to give our love back to our communities so we can know what's going on and give them the support from knowledge to born. So if you're ready to learn, then it's time to go. Sit back and relax and enjoy your show. Peace.
Peace, peace. Peace to Allah's mighty 5% nation of gods and earth, to all the human families of the planet Earth. Give you a high salute, love, peace, and happiness. It's the one and only DJ K-Wise right here on the Real2reel360 show, co-host. But I can't be the other half without the other half coming in at this time. But sit back, relax, take notes. We got a dynamic show for you this evening. So we're going to let my PhD, Mr. Jahshamel Allah, take it away. Peace, Almighty.
Peace, peace, peace to all the 5% nation of gods and earth. Peace to all our followers and subscribers and those individuals who have yet to follow and subscribe and have been watching our videos. Please like, follow, and subscribe. And tell a friend and tell a friend. Today is going to be very impactful because we have our own personal resident HRT coach, Miss Lynn Meyer. She has her own practice, but she's definitely Real2reel360 family. So, ladies and gentlemen, bring our fourth person on, you know, because she's not a guest. She's like another co-host. Lynn Myers, please bring my sis on.
Yes, indeed. Strong J. Strong J.
That's Strong J. Strong J.
It's not even like we can say guest anymore. You know what I mean? Because it's like truly, honestly, it's like you're part of the Real2reel360 umbrella. You know what I mean? Like for the most part. So it's like three co-hosts talking, you know? But today is going to be an impactful show because we're going to be talking about no means no. We're talking about date rape, marriage rape, and things of that nature today. And I think that is a subject that needs to be addressed when it comes down to dating man and woman, because it's not just, you know, women saying no, it's also men that are saying no at this point in time in life. So, Ms. Lynn Meyer, can you explain what the term no means no actually represents?
Well, first of all, like, you can't just bring me on the show and keep saying, like, I'm a co-host and I'm family and not give me, like, the opportunity to say anything about that. Like, yeah, I am definitely family. I'm so glad to be back. And every time I come back, it's like my smile gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I was like, in a minute, you're not going to see my eyes. But I'm just so thankful to be here. Thank you so much for allowing me to come back on to grace the stage yet again, because this is a vibe here, and I really appreciate it. And I do not take that for granted. I really don't. So I just wanted to tell you thank you for bringing me on. I also wanted to say, with October being domestic violence / now is, I think it's intimate partner violence. So either one, that's the month for it. And so this is the perfect time to definitely talk about it and put awareness and education to it. But it needs to happen all year round. But this is the month that it is recognized. So what does no mean no? What does that mean for me? I don't care. I'm married, for those that don't know. I'm married and we've been together for a very long time. But if I decide tonight I don't want to have sex with my husband, and he's very aggressive about it, and he's like, we've been together all these years, so that's mine. It belongs to me. All those things. If I say no, no means no. That's for me. That's for any male. That's for any female. It doesn't matter what the type of relationship that you're in. You can be in a relationship for a short amount of time, long periods of time, a committed relationship, common law marriage. It does not matter. Just because you're with the person, consensual with the person, and you want to be with that person, and you claim each other as partners, and you are in a relationship, it doesn't mean that they're your property. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that you get to dictate how they use their body. It doesn't mean that you say, you know what, since we're together, then that's supposed to be mine. No is a complete sentence. It doesn't mean no, let me think about it. No is just that. It's not no, but maybe. It's an absolute no. And a lot of people think, well, you're married. Well, you're in a relationship. Well, I know you guys been together 15 years. So how could that be rape? How could that mean something different outside of yes, because you're supposed to be together? Well, that's the thing. No one owns anybody, and my body is mine. And at any time I want to say no, that needs to be honored. So that's what I would say about that.
Now, with that statement, I know from like childhood how guys used to always say that she may be saying no, but she really wants it. Is that ever a scenario, or was that ever a real scenario?
Well, you know what? I think that's when you really had to pay attention to. Now, see, this is going to sound like I'm contradicting myself, but listen to what I'm saying. You really have to pay attention to your partner. We all have these things when we're playing, and when things are like really spicy and really sexy, and you say certain things in a certain way and all of that. That's different, but you still need to check in though. It's like, I know you said stop, but are we still doing this? And she will let you know, or he will let you know. So that's how I would answer that. But it doesn't mean that I can be in the moment and I'm saying, yes, this is good, this is great, this is great, this is great. And then all of a sudden, I'm just like, ooh, I don't want to do this anymore. And at that time, even though minutes before I was enjoying it, but at that time, if I say no and I mean it, or if the person says no and they mean it, you need to immediately stop.
Now, with that being said, a lot of times I know individuals have caught date rape charges behind saying no. So, and they have become to the point where they were almost in the point of penetration, or have started penetrating, and the female said no. So at that point in time, anything after that is considered rape.
In my opinion, yes. Or some type of assault, for sure.
Some type of sexual assault. So when individuals hear the word no, they should just fall back and just conversate, like you said, check in.
Yeah. You would save your life. Like, both parties would save themselves a lot of grief if you checked in when someone says no. Again, I mean, as a female, I don't know if a lot of guys say no. I can't speak to that. But as a female, depending on who it is or who it was, definitely like with my husband, you know, it may be that sexy thing, or like, ooh, don't do that, like, stop, whatever. But he's still checking in with me. Because he's like, I know your background. What are we doing here? And that is the thing. So anytime you hear no, you really need to communicate with the person. Like, are we role playing? What are we doing? Is this something you're just saying, or is this something that we need to stop doing right now?
What is the actual magnitude of the word no, and is there a safe word in the relationship when it comes down to intimacy? Because like you said, there's some role playing and there's some other things. So to allow things to actually happen, is there a safe word that should be implemented, that this is okay or this isn't okay?
I really do think there needs to be a safe word. I really do. When couples are together, you need to know about each other's bodies, because there may be some insecurity, and on the man and woman part, you know, it may be some insecurities like, oh, don't touch that, don't do this, I don't like that. So you need to know what is okay. You really do. And definitely if it comes to a part where it's like, I'm feeling uncomfortable, that needs to be addressed before you even start the act of having sex. I think that needs to be talked about, like when you're dating and now you started getting serious, and then you guys are talking about sex. It's like, okay, if this ever goes to a place where we're not comfortable and we don't want to do it, is there going to be a statement, a safe word, or whatever, and you come up with that together. I can't have a safe word by myself and not tell you.
Right.
I can be saying peanut butter and jelly. I don't know why that came to my head. I could be saying that, and you can be like, well, yeah, that is good. Peanut butter jelly is good. But I'm like, but I'm saying peanut butter jelly, I don't want to do this anymore. Right. So you can't just come up with one. Like I said, you really need to understand what that safe word is. And I think it's very important to have one. I really do.
I know that guys always talk about how they wake their wife up by having sex with them. Is that considered a rape without her acknowledging?
Yes. Or an assault. Let's just use both words. Rape or an assault. Absolutely. Again, if it's not consensual and one person is reaping the benefit and the other one is feeling like they're losing or whatever, then that's not a good thing. So again, you can really fall into that rape or that assault just by not having that communication. And again, being aware and having education, just because I'm married or just because we've been together for 20 years does not mean that what you say about my body or what you want to do to my body, I have to agree to it. I don't. No. And I keep saying men and women because it's happening to men as well. Men are just not reporting it as much as women are. And I'm pretty sure we'll talk about that too. But they're just not reporting it as much, for various reasons.
Now, people always talk about, I guess, I don't know the scripture, but about how the Bible said the bedroom should not be defiled and all these other things, the wife, whatever. And I think that's a lot of the excuse that individuals use when it comes down to doing it. So, and I'm not a big promotion of picking and choosing what you utilize for as religious text to benefit yourself.
Right.
I know that a lot of individuals do. So with that, do you feel like that's like pressure putting on your mate because people will throw that in your face? And then the ones that throw it in your face are the least religious in the world. Like,
well, I think they may be the least spiritual. A lot of people are extremely religious. Like I grew up in religion. And when I became an adult and I wanted to read for myself, like I started looking at Muslim, I started looking like 5%. Like I started looking at everything because I said, this stuff makes sense. It's not just Christianity. Oh, I'm trying not to go off on a tangent. It's not just Christianity. It's not like all this I've been taught, like, y'all try to keep me like a slave. And this is not even how, so because there is everybody. Okay, let me just say this real quick. The Bible, the King James Bible, is a slave Bible anyway, because in order to get the slave, you got to get their mind, and that's the reason why people do that. So to answer your question, yes, that's the reason why it was said like that, because it was like, oh, the Bible says, not to defile the bed, and the woman is owned by the. Absolutely not. How else could you have control over someone? And what is the best way to control people in their minds and people that want to be a follower of Jesus Christ, but to throw the Bible at them, especially if they are very religious? I am not a religious person. I understand who Jesus is and I love Jesus, but I'm more spiritual because it is a relationship. It is not context. And I'm gonna get off because I feel like I'm going to it. But yeah, that's how I answer it.
Well, you see why she's our sister. You see that? because this is a conversation that we have all the time.
So,
but you know, that's
use it all the time for sure.
People use that, and as you say, to enslave their mate or their spouse with Bible context is the same, like you just said, how you enslave a people, you know, and everybody wants to be closer to their higher self or whatever they believe in. They want to be closer to that. So when you throw a religious text, they be like, oh, okay.
But I better follow it. I better follow it because God is not going to be pleased if I don't follow this. And, you know, I got to do this right because he, you know, would be damned to hell if I don't do this right. But if it is putting you in a position where you don't feel comfortable, like, would Jesus be okay with that? Like, does he want you to be hurt?
Now, even with that concept, right, at that point, you're basically using your mate as a garbage dump, because at no point in time it is a emotional connection,
right?
Because once you start saying no, the emotion goes from love, passion to I hate this month. I wish he just hurry up and finish, and whatever the case may be. And you know, that's something that's we want to address, that these are some of the reasons why the relationships in Black marriages and Black and brown couples fail, because people don't listen to certain words or communicate properly.
Yeah, absolutely, they don't. They really don't. And let me just say this, because I don't know if this is a question, but people always talk about, so if anyone ever follows me, the HRT coach on Instagram, follow me right now. If you follow me, you know I talk about sexual abuse and domestic violence all the time. Well, domestic violence is not just physical. It's spiritual, it's financial, it's verbal. Like, it can be so many different things. It's not just the one thing. So if a person is listening right now or they watch the replay, oh well, I'm not being physically harmed, so she must not be doing this, he must not be doing that. But if any of that falls under physical, sexual, spiritual, economic, any of that, and then that's just a little bit of a list, that is part of domestic violence. Like, it's part of it. It is definitely part of it. And I want people to understand that just because you're not being beat up or thrown against the wall or whatever, it's still part of it. And what we're talking about tonight is still part of it as well.
And I know that you have written a couple of books, and we wanted to highlight some of that, because I don't think that on the other shows that we really touched on the books and the reason why you wrote the books that you've written. And I want individuals to really tap in and to get a clean slate with themselves, because we all are damaged in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Can you speak toward so like your retreats and stuff that you and your husband do, and you're going to have some for men now, you know? Let's really like jump into that.
Absolutely. So I began having retreats for women, because that's who I primarily work with. In 2019, I started retreats. I was like, this is cool. I think this is something we need to do. But then finding out that how beneficial they were, or the women coming back saying, this is great, I love this. We knew we had to like expand on that. And so pay no attention to the children in the background, because they're going to be always around. And so when I started it, I wanted to start retreats in the month of April for sexual abuse, because that is the month that is recognized, and then also have the retreat in October for domestic violence, because that's the month that is recognized. And so the retreats are usually like weekend retreats for the women. But then my husband and I, because we are a team, we were sitting down talking one day, and we are going to also write a book together. The perspective is going to be me as the person that was violated, and him being the person that has to deal with all this, because this is a lot. And so we wanted to have both perspectives. And then he said, you do these retreats for women, how would you feel doing retreats for like couples or men? And I was just like, that would be dope. Like, because you will be at the retreat, and the way we have it set up is it's not just, oh, you're out, you're laying in the water, and no, it's like it's education. It's a very holistic approach. When I say that, many people really don't understand that. It's not just therapy, like we do Reiki. A lot of people are afraid of this. It is not witchcraft, it is none of that stuff. But people, again, it's education. So it could be from Reiki to yoga. We have nutrition there, but it's a lot of connection with yourself and with the partner. So that's how we're going to have it set up for the couples as well. It's going to be very intense. We'll have separation too, just so you know. Like, I'll be working with the women, and I'll have somebody come in and work with the men. But then my husband is also going to work with men, and then we're going to bring it back together, because that's what it's all about. We need that individual time, and we need that time with like all the women. Then the guys need to be by themselves so y'all can talk about us, and then we can get back together. You know, it's real. Like, it is real. And so, and it's gonna be a wonderful retreat. And so we're gonna get that set up starting in 2023. So
well, go ahead, Kate.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get back to the no means no part in the judicial sense. Okay. And it goes back to, I'm gonna tap on what you said earlier, John, when we talked about statutory rape, or even when the two are of age, and there are maybe just a small distinctive in timeline, and someone says, no, what you did to this person, you have people that have done a lot of falsifying no means no to punish others. And there are statistically men in prison systems now who were victims of the no means no falseness, and then had to prove themselves. And some of them have gotten out. This is years and years later on. So how do we try to get the judicial law and legislative system to understand it's such a like touch and go subject on no means no when it comes to that kind of situation? So what would you say is the best approach?
So for me, again, it's going to go back to education, because when a female says, oh, I was raped, I was violated, people are going to listen. They're going to listen. But when a man says, I was raped, I was assaulted, I was violated, it's going to be questioned like, what really happened? Nothing really happened. And so when you have one gender that is going to be believed over the other, that's a very difficult thing. And so, and that's the thing. And I think females know that too, especially when it comes to athletes. Let me just use athletes for a second. They're going to believe them. They're going to believe them. And because for many reasons, like they want to get the athlete in trouble or whatever, and they want to have the biggest news, the biggest story, the biggest whatever. So it's going to go out, such and such assaulted, whatever. And they may have been in a relationship, but they spin it. And so you spin it, and then it goes into, like you said, the law, the judicial system, and it turns into something like, you know what, that's what they do. Since we're talking about black and brown, that's what they do. And, you know, they're savages, and they're this and they're that. So it really, again, it's going to have to go back to awareness and education and everything we talk about, because we're not savages. You know, these things happen. A lot of them are unfortunate, but some of these are lies. And that needs to be looked into, not just because, oh my gosh, she's a therapist, she's this, she's that. I can lie too. But you're going to believe me over my titles. You're going to believe me because of whatever. You're going to believe because I come from money or whatever reason they believe. You know, you really need to start questioning about this, because like you said, a lot of people are losing time away from their family because they are doing time.
Right.
And that's how I would approach it. Like, it really needs to be looked into and not just believed just because someone said it.
Now, I know that like from watching the news and individuals who have gone to college, how ladies have had date rape drugs put into their drinks and things like that, and have been coerced one way or the other into having intercourse with individuals, with multiple individuals at that. How can we protect the women from that as men? What can we do as men to protect them from getting caught up in these date rape drugs and having being in a situation where it's multiple guys violating their bodies and things like that?
I think the only way to try to help, okay, since we said women, to help them out is like really have a good guy friend. A lot of times when being in college, you know, you have those relationships when you have, because I had a bunch of guy friends in college that I was not sleeping with. I slept with a lot of them over here, but these over here were my buddies, and like they looked out for me, and they could tell me, they're like, hey, you out and out, hey, you doing this, hey, you got to watch this guy, you don't want to be around him. So just, I think that is where it would be very supportive for them to just have that person that's going to be watching out for them. Because a lot of times, if we're talking about college, this is their first time being away from home. A lot of them, you met these friends and you want to be in the cool club or whatever. And it's like, I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to start drinking now. I'm going to start smoking now. I'm going to start doing all this. And lo and behold, somebody is watching you. You're getting tipsier and tipsier or whatever. Or he's getting tipsier and tipsier. And they just take advantage, and they do. A lot of date rapes can happen. But just again, to answer your question, if you would allow yourself, or the guys to allow themselves, like the friend, you know, those young girls that are doing that, or the females that are doing that, that would be very, very helpful. Because we watch out for each other anyway. Like most times we do. Like, girl, I'm going to the bathroom, wash my drink. Right here in my face as I'm drinking mine. Your drink is like, and that's just how we do. And so I just feel like if there was like an extra protection, if guys could follow up the same way, I think that'd be, and vice versa. I mean, like, girls need to be watching the guys too, because the world we live in now, like, guys can date rape drugs too. So it's happening.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely happening.
I think we need to also let it be known that the no means no covers on almost every spectrum of aspect. Not just a relationship at home or relationship boyfriend, girlfriend, but this stuff happens in the workplace.
Yes.
It happens in the churches.
Yes.
It happens in the synagogues. It happens in the mosque. It happens
everywhere.
In almost every aspect, and people not understand it. Because one of the good things I remember with the sexual harassment case involved a no means no, which led to the movie that Michael Douglas played in a long time ago, when the woman was sexually harassing him when he was telling her no. But the system,
fatal attraction,
yes, and the system was against him when he was the one. So it changed the narrative of a game and gave a lot of people perspective, like, so men can really be assaulted, you know, because for a long time it was always the women.
You know, Kay, with that scenario, and I hate to be, you know, like have a spoiler, but in the on the lighter, you know, the cave people, they can come out and say that they've been raped and been sexually harassed, and it'll be accepted. Us culturally, they look at us like we're faking, like we're playing. It's not accepted for a brother, or, you know what I'm saying, or even a sister. She has to go through the ringer when she says that she's been raped, or a brother goes through the ringer. It's the same way it is when a man try to call and say, I've been physically abused by my woman. It's not the fact that he didn't want to, you know what I'm saying, he got beat up. He don't want to hit her back. You know what I mean? And you looked at as a punk, you looked at as a weak individual, you know what I'm saying? And these type of things. So with that, it varies at the way, you know what I'm saying, this world is made up, because they didn't accept that a white man would come and be like, yo, I've been sexually harassed at the job, quid pro quo, you know what I'm saying, told me that if I do this, I get this, that, and the third. You go to HR and tell them, you know, this such and such said, if I did this, they would promote me. You know, they're gonna look at you like you're crazy.
You absolutely
like, do you got evidence? They be like, you got evidence?
Yeah. And you're right, because it's everywhere. Like you said, it's at the workplace, it's at the church, it's like it's everywhere. It's at different ages. It's not just adults. Let me put this on. It's not just adults, it's not just like it's children too. You know, it's these teenagers that's trying to get into relationships. You don't even know what that means, but you're still trying to get into a relationship, you know. It is not just heterosexual.
Right.
It's all of it. It's every relationship that you can think of. Lesbian, gay, polyamorous. I was told that the last time. I was like, thank you. I couldn't think of it. But all of that.
What is that?
It's
poly.
It's
more than
yeah, it's more.
It's more.
It's like have you ever heard of like the sister wife type thing?
Yeah,
it's sort of like that, but with like a spin on it. With a spin on it. That's what I just say. And I'm not the one to just really go into, but that's how I view it. It's like, oh, so that's what y'all do. Okay, whatever. So, but it's all of that. It's any and all of that. That's so funny.
You know, but it's funny because even in the swingers world,
yes,
in the swingers world, there's been cases of no means no that has been not brought out because of in the swingers world they want to keep it on low key. They don't. You don't need to know who's doing what behind closed doors or whatever. So, you know, but there's multiple cases that have come up and no means no.
Absolutely. Because what? We're swingers. I mean, you're supposed to be saying no. We're swingers. We're doing everything and anything, but it still happens. It happens. Like for real.
Also, like a lot of people don't realize that that's the reason why you got to have a good relationship with your child, because you never know with the teachers, the professors and students, things of this nature. They might say that they give them a bad grade, and if they perform sexual acts, then these things can happen and blah 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 blah. So you have to be very cautious, and your presence got to be felt a lot of times when it comes down to certain aspects, because especially like having children and having daughters, and then you have and having sons that are on the fence and don't know exactly about their own sexuality or securing their own sexuality. They can get caught up in certain things, you know. So you have to be very careful when it comes down with your children and the people that are influencing them in their lives.
I totally agree. I feel like we dealt with all of that. And we talked about it too. It's like, if anybody comes to you, like especially with our smaller children, if anybody comes to you, I don't care who it is, it can be mommy, daddy, you know, anybody that you feel that they're doing something and you don't feel comfortable, you don't like that or whatever, you say no. My children, my 3 and 4 year olds say no to me all the time. And I'm not gonna do anything to them, but I love the fact that they tell me no. Like I may smack their butt or something, and somebody, especially my 3-year-old, she was like, "Mommy, don't do that. I don't like that." Well, let me leave you alone.
Man, I wish I could have told my parents when they were whooping my butt that I ain't like that, and they left me alone.
And they're like, "I will leave you alone." Now, I wish it was a whooping, but you know, like when if you're playing or whatever, and she's like, "Don't do that," and she's so serious, and I'm like, "Okay," but that's because we've talked to them. You know, even at that age, she knows like, if I say no, mommy is going to stop. If I say daddy, don't do that, he's going to stop. You know, and then our son is 19. But and when you brought that up about like not knowing like where you fit in or whatever, like he went through that when he was like 12. I don't know if I like guys. I don't know if I like girls. And we're just like, okay, it doesn't matter. But whatever you decide, just make sure this is somebody that's going to respect you. And if you don't want to be with them, you don't have to be with them just to have a friend or whatever, you know, because that happens too. And I'm glad I said that. Sometimes no means no, but they just say yes because they want that love or they want that attention. And they don't want to feel rejected or they want to be accepted. When all the while they really want to say no. But that could be another story too. It happens everywhere.
Let's address this at the bottom. Angela Harris states, whether swinging, poly, open, or exclusive, each individual has autonomy over their body even the sex workers can say no.
Oh, yes, yes.
That was a great statement right there, because I was just thinking about that. So, most people think just because you in that type of line of business, or you free game.
That's right.
Especially those in the porn industry and everything.
Yes.
You wide open. I saw you in the movie.
Exactly.
You was just putting it up, so let's go ahead. No.
I was making my money. Like, right. That's different. I was making my paper. It's not because now you see that you saw me in the #1 porn flick. Now I'm just open. No, I was making my money. That's my job. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that is true. She does add on, saying, let her clarify. Sex workers who willingly practice sex work can say no. If they are forced in lifestyle, then the end, not so much.
Not so much, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I understand that. But yeah, even if you're known to be a prostitute, a hooker, a porn star, or whatever, you can still say no. Mm-hmm. Just because I get paid for that, or just because, this is something that I do, doesn't mean you're going to do that to me.
And see, that's the warped mind of people thinking. That's the warped mind.
Yeah.
Yo, I don't know how you know I'm about to say something crazy, but go ahead. I'm going to say something crazy. Because I was going to say, matter of fact, I'm going to say it anyway. So when a sex worker say no, do they give the money back? Do they give refunds?
I don't know. And that's a great question. I'm like, I don't know. But I'm going to ask because, you know what? Thank you. This is homework. I'm going to ask because this is funny. I am going to ask because I am around a lot of people that may be in that line of work.
Do they get a $40 back? Or
and I'm gonna find out for you.
Do they take EBT now? I don't know.
All of that. They really do. You know what? But on a serious note, what do you think?
It is a good question.
But seriously, on a serious note, what do you think happens though? Do you think if they say no and then the person that's paying for the sex, they say, well, give me my money back?
Yeah,
do you think that happens?
You false advertising.
Yeah.
You false advertising.
You reneging on the deal. Hey, I gotta get my money. Hey.
I don't know why I drank the water like that. Was so stupid of me. I almost choked.
But that is a great question in the world of soliciting,
And now, I don't know why that thought came to my mind or whatever the case may be.
Oh, man.
But Q knew you was going to say something.
Yeah, my cousin Q knew he knew I was going to say something. Mm-hmm. That's why he said, don't do it. And I was like,
don't do it. I feel it.
Angela says,
see?
Typically, sex workers and their clients discuss what is being paid for in advance, so nothing should be a surprise. Well,
absolutely right. Thank you for bringing us back.
That's a quarter of the statement part.
That's it. Now, if it was discussed that, you know what I'm saying, you was going to get a 50-50 and then around the world, and you say no, and I paid for a 50-50 and around the world, and I only get a 50-50 and not around the world, do I get my money back?
Because I think you should. I think you should get half of your money back.
Man, I'm going to take it to Judge Judy.
Look, ask her when she comes up.
I'm gonna take it to court. I'm gonna prove my statement. The law will be on my side.
Like seriously, we're laughing, but that is like that's serious though. Like really, do you get your money back?
And then also too, we have to be very careful about like the message and I said it jokingly, but I was dead serious. But I know that sometimes when people are engaging in intimacy, right? And I'm stopping. I'm going to stop, Q. Stop. Engaging in intimacy and individuals become physically aggressive at that point. And I think that we have to be very mindful of a lot of stuff in how we put out certain things. So if you're involved with someone and you're about to be intimate, and at that point the person says no, you know what I'm saying? Gather yourself as a person and have enough respect for not only yourself but the person you're with to accept the word no.
Mm-hmm.
To accept the word no, because a lot of people, sex workers, girlfriends, and wives sometimes take beatings behind not wanting to. And I think that's a lot of times the fear of women not saying no.
Well, I think we got to be real because to answer all the joking aside, we all know in the world prostitution is a illegal thing to be doing in the country here.
Unless you're in Nevada.
But still, if for the main part, what we're saying is we understand that prostitution is an illegal aspect of worker, and even they still have a right when they're violated by anyone. They have legal rights. They have human rights, first of all.
Right.
And the legal system should be able to protect them as well, not because of what they're doing as a profession in the legal tone, but because they're human. And their human dignity has been defiled and violated. So we are not condoning that. We're not, we make jokes
not by a long shot,
serious, about that. So that's what we're doing. No refund, ma'am. Ja, no refund.
I'm not paying anyway. I'm not paying. They don't take food stamps. But when it comes down to like the relationships and everything else, let's be honest. Most young men, like I said in the very beginning, are told that just because she say no, she really don't mean no. You just have to be a little more persistent. She just want to see if you're going to be, persistent when it comes down to intercourse. And as you get older, you understand, especially when you start having children, you understand and you look at it from a different scope. That she says no, it's actually no, and it's sad that a lot of young men get caught up behind that, because we always talk about that men need to educate the young men coming up, but they need to give them the proper knowledge coming up about relationships and about women and how you address women, and you get involved with the female, and the female needs to get the truth about how to be involved with a man.
But I think it goes to both sides too, because again, my mom was not an aggressive woman, but there are a lot of aggressive women in my family, and would probably give the same advice that what you just said that a man would give to his young son, or the boys, like you hanging around, hey man, if she says this and whatever, because I've heard conversations where these women are like, if he say no, just take it. Just do this. I'm like, whoa, that's very aggressive. And then their children are hearing this, or like young people around are hearing it, and like, we gotta do better with this, because again, you telling these children, or if you and I are having a conversation and they overhear it, you're letting them know that that's okay, and that's not okay. It's never okay when someone says no. Never is it okay.
Never.
You don't try to persuade them, change their mind, coerce them. None of that. It's just no.
Now it says that Dr. Harris says that she works at a college, and unfortunately, many men got caught up when a woman said no, and they did not stop. One could say no during and in the midst of consensual acts.
That's what I was saying. Absolutely. You can be like, oh, we both agree. Hey, let's go back to my room. Let's do this. Let's do that. We getting sexy. It's all spicy. And he can say no. And I'd be like, dude, are we going to do this? He just said no. I'm supposed to be like, respect that. She just said no. I'm supposed to respect that. Like, it doesn't matter if we agree to go back to the room. It doesn't matter if we agreed to have sex. It doesn't matter if I change my mind or if he changes his mind. That's it. It's over. Either we try it another time or we don't try it anymore.
Now,
that's just it.
Now with that, when a man tell a woman no, she gets really offended. Because at that point in time, I think it's an ego thing for her. Like she feel like he don't want her or he's not turned on by her or whatever the case may be. And he would get dogged out. He would get dragged. He would be on a multi-female text about how weak of a man he is and things of that nature. He'd be slandered. He would be slandered. Yeah, peace, Teresa. How you doing? Peace. It's some things that a lot of times the scenario when you don't really think that a person would think that way, but they do. And people put more value on sex than they do on the actual relationship, especially in these days and times, because majority of individuals are not looking for relationships. They're looking for at least 20 minutes of activity, and that's it, or 30 minutes, or whatever.
5 minutes of phone. That's all.
5 minutes of phone. But it's still, I don't care if you say you want a casual relationship or I just want to have sex, I just want to do this. That is still needs to be respected. It doesn't matter if we both know that what they don't say. Do they still say fuck boys? I don't know what they say anymore, but whatever. It doesn't matter if that's what it is. If we decide not to do it, and we both were like, hey, this is just a fling, it still needs to be respected. You ain't got to be in a relationship. We just met each other at the bar. You bought me a drink, whatever, and we decide it's like, okay, so now I don't want to do it anymore. That still needs to be respected. Even though we both knew all this was going to be sex.
Teresa says sexual harassment can even happen with married couples. No means no to everyone. Yes, you're absolutely right. That's
absolutely correct. And that's the reason why we're having the topic, because a lot of people don't realize that in married relationships, people are forcing themselves on someone that they claim that they love.
That's right.
And if you love a person, then you shouldn't have to feel, or you shouldn't make your spouse feel like, you know what I'm saying, you're forcing yourself on them. It should be always a mutual situation. So these are some things that we need to address, whether you're married, living together, or what have you. We should always be mindful of our spouse's feelings when it comes down to having relations and relationships.
I want to jump back to what she stated right here about the cultures some cultures don't believe in saying no. That's true. But as long as you're here in this Western side of this hemisphere and the law states no means no carries, your culture has no win in the court.
That's right.
For those who may even feel trapped by that because of their culture and are living here in this Western civilization, you do have rights. You do have protection. There's a way for you to get out of it if that's what you're seeking, if that's what it is. The main thing is always to talk to one another before you let things get out of hand. And in some cultures now, when it comes to the United States of America, people are like, yo, listen, I understand my culture, but that's not for me anymore. So now you have to talk to your spouse and say, listen, I know what our tradition is or our culture way of life, but we're here and this is how I've been feeling. I just never been able to express myself because of our culture ways.
Right.
So we must have to make an establishment to that.
Yeah. Who said that? Dr. Angela?
No, Teresa Edwards.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Teresa. That was a good one.
Yes, definitely. Peter Mixologist from Bars and Hoops checking in. That's exactly who that is. T the Mixologist from Bars and Hoops. Definitely, we look at things and we say things a lot of times in joking fashion. And then you look at individuals who honestly are starting to take this serious. Like you starting to see individuals who are wanting wives from Africa and these mail order brides, and they're starting to want to have relationships with individuals that they can dominate or they can manipulate, or they feel that is very, 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 you know what I'm saying, sensitive, and they want to always live out their culture. But once a woman touched the soils of the Western Hemisphere, the culture that they live, wherever they come from, has changed, because they will add on to whatever that they have, whatever that they see. They're not going to be that same person much longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I just wanted to say, oh, women, I was once a counselor. What did Teresa say? That was so fast.
She was once a counselor for sexual assault and harassment.
And
she says, thank you for what you said. Thank you. And you're welcome.
Definitely.
Yeah. Absolutely. And made me lose my train of thought was when I saw she was a sex counselor, just thinking about that, how difficult that must be to hear that, or to see people coming in because I said no. But I'm here because I was violated, or nobody believed me, or, I'm here for help, or I got away and all that. So I can just imagine like being in that situation, what that could have done to her mental health. And bringing that up, like if someone doesn't even respect your no, you know what that does to your mental health? It's like, so now I'm worthless. I'm this, I'm nobody. I have no value. I have this. And it just goes, it plays into your psyche. And then that, if you continue to say no so many times and no one is listening to your no, eventually it's going to be like,
feel like
I give up.
Yeah.
I give up. And that's probably what my mom went through. And I talk about my life so freely because I'm not ashamed of it. And my mom went through domestic violence for 55 years before she finally left my dad. And I'm pretty sure she went through some of that because, at times she didn't want to be bothered, but he was such an aggressive man. Who knows what he did to her or, tried to do to her, because I know she wanted to say no to him multiple times, but just felt like she could not because of fear of losing her life or him doing something to us or something like that. And that's a hard place to be in because, again, her no still meant no, but I know he did not respect that, so.
And, it's sad that when you think about the pressure that people put on other people and force them to say no and everything else, what I mean? It's just sad, like for real. How you just think about what our parents went through, because growing up, like a lot of people were sharecroppers and farmers and things of that nature, and you're tired and everything else, and a man is forcing himself on you. You know what I'm saying? After a long day of picking cotton or tobacco or whatever they were growing, whatever they was doing, and then somebody just want to come lay up on top of you. You know what I mean? And I don't think that during that period of time it was as much of a sexual freedom, whereas they were caring about being sensual and all these different things, and a woman having orgasms and all this other stuff. It was just, let me get off and go to sleep.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're my property.
Yeah, you're my property, because slavery has moved from outside the home to inside the home.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, it's the same. It's almost the same setup when you look at brides who are made or forced into the marriage by family generation to say, you're going to marry so you don't know nothing about this person whatsoever, and you're going into a relationship blindly, and you have to submit or give in to this marriage sanctity because of the family tradition or the culture from what we were talking about earlier. And then in some of those culture aspects, taking you as my wife is number one. You're going to give me, and you're going to provide me with whenever, however, how it's done, I want it, and
That's
A
right.
lot of these things, like I said, it takes away one's innocence and takes away one's essence of beauty within.
Mm-hmm.
And the mental abuse of it is so strong that some turn away from the very thing they want and turn into the other opposite sex, or
Hold on, what is the other opposite sex?
I mean same sex, what I'm
I
saying.
just want to know
Awesome.
what was the other opposite sex?
You know what he meant.
So it's a mental breakdown in all case. So as we're talking, and I want you to see the hotline, I saw Teresa put up something. Rain, I think is that raining? I can't really see the word. That rain, RAIN.
Oh, rain, yeah.
Rain.
Rain is a good one too.
Okay, so could you explain what that is so that people can know?
So yeah, RAIN is a national organization as well. It's known for sexual abuse.
Okay.
And they have so many resources. Like, it's one of the top resources that you can get for sexual abuse. Everything is on there. You can find classes, support groups, places to go, like every single thing you need, case management, like that. Yeah, it's a one-stop shop. Not in like a one-stop shop like it's nothing, but it's very well known. Well, so that's one. It's usually that one. And Tassa, but Tassa's like for Texas, but that's well known as well. But RAIN, yeah, a lot of people know about RAIN. I'm glad she put that up because that's another resource. If you don't know where to go, you can definitely find that.
Well, make sure I want to announce the phone number as well. It's 800-656-4673. Once again, 800-656-4673. Thank you very much, sis. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Also, too, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make sure that y'all understand that this is a series that we'll be running with our sister, Lynn Meyer. We'll be working on the awareness of sexual assault, sexual abuse, domestic violence. In the next few weeks, we'll be having different topics coming along so that we will be addressing. The next topic, I think, where we're talking about is the emotional part of being sexually abused. Yeah. And we will address that because people don't realize, like, going forward, just because you were sexually assaulted, you don't get over it overnight. This is a lifelong process and the emotions and things that you will be going through while you're dealing with your issues of being assaulted. The person, 9 times out of 10, the person that assaulted you was someone you knew, and that it broke your heart. So we're going to be touching on all these subjects and how you can find some coping skills to help you get through with our own sister, our own real-to-real HRT coach, Lynn Meyer, will be on.
Absolutely. So they cannot get tired of my face.
That's right.
So don't get tired of my face because I'll be here. Yeah, and I'll show up anyway. So I may have a scarf on, I may do whatever, but it's gonna be the same person. But I speak from my heart and I love helping people and I want people to understand, and that's why I am the HRT coach, that healing, restoration, and transformation are all possible no matter what type of trauma you've gone through, no matter what type of experience you've gone through. Because when you have dealt with something like domestic violence or any type of abuse, let me just say that, or anything that disrupts your life or safe or security, you don't believe any of that is possible, and they all are. And so, yeah, so we're doing these series. We hope you come back. We hope you share all those things and come with a lot of questions, especially if you see my face, come with a lot of questions, because I love being honest and I love giving you education. Like, I like giving information with a spin of, humor, because that's who I am. But yeah, ask anything, ask everything.
Definitely.
Kids say you play too much, Jah. But Lynn, could you look? I put the number up and the hotline. Could you explain that before we go for everybody?
The domestic violence hotline.
Oh, yeah. So that's also like one of the national numbers too. You definitely want to use that. The way they have their website set up, I absolutely love it. Like, if you are dealing with, and listen to me very closely, if you are dealing with any type of violence, if you go, and you know how people can check your history, especially your person that's trying to have control over you, it won't even show up. So let me say that. If you check this hotline, you can click it and try to get help, and it will send you to where you can be safe and talk to someone, but it will not come up on your history. And I love that they did that, because, you know, a lot of times people are being checked up on, like, what are you doing? What is this? What is that? And so again, this is almost like RAIN too, because they have all these resources on there as well. They have shelters, they have like anything you can think of, from therapy, the support, all of that, because they know people are wanting help. They know people need help. And so even though I can't think of everything that they help you with, they do it because people want to leave. People want to feel confident. People like all these things, and they have it there. And so that's the line for that. And I think also you can text it too. I could probably pull it up real quick. But that's one thing I love about that website, is because there's no trace. There's no trace. You can look it up, and you're the person will never know that you're trying to receive help.
Okay. Well, we're coming to the end now, and as always, you make sure that you get in touch with H&L Pickles.
Yes. Yes.
You make sure. You make sure.
Yes.
That you all tap into our nieces, you know what I'm saying, their business.
Yes.
Make sure you're getting some of the best pickles you ever tasted in your life, infused with different flavors. I have to always shout them out. You know what I mean? I have to always plug them in.
And not only that, you're helping supporting two beautiful young girls of the future, entrepreneurs in the making, and they're making their history in their way. So support our people, because it is very important that we teach our babies the right way, so the babies can take care of us as they get older.
That's right.
And right there, that lets you know that Lynn is a great mom, because she taught her children financial literacy from a very early age.
They had to.
She said she wants to try.
This is my money. Like, this is my money. You need to make your own.
Well, look, since you want in, Teresa's asking real quick. She wants to try, so tell her where she can go.
Oh, absolutely. So, Teresa, go to if you're on Facebook, I'm not sure if you're on Facebook, but it's H&L, because it's Haley and Leah, Pickles Perfected. Okay, that is Facebook. If you're on Instagram, it's just Pickles Perfected on Instagram, and you can order. You can see the flavors. You can reach out to me, because of course I manage their social media. But reach out and you can order. We can ship it to you. So we have prices, flavors. We can ship whatever you want. They can do it.
It's good. It's good. I had mine.
Yes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our sister. The third part of Real2reel360. Look at her.
Yeah.
And
better have Stonesy.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. John, let them know who we got coming up.
Man, tomorrow, ladies, we have.
Here we go. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we have tomorrow Tony Terry.
Who we got?
Tony Terry.
Tell him one more time. Who is it?
Tony Terry.
Yeah, y'all don't want to miss TT there, baby.
I think that they're gonna blow the roof off the joint tomorrow for Tony Terry.
Don't call in now. Don't call in now. we ain't gonna talk about Tony Terry now, so don't call in. You get a call in tomorrow.
And you better hope you'll be able to get in, because I know that line is gonna blow up tomorrow.
All lines is very limited.
And see, this is, whether y'all know it or not, Lynn is gonna be on tomorrow with Tony Terry and us with her questions.
I know, be in that live chat. That's what I do.
Yeah,
what I do.
We love you, sis. Always.
Thank you. I love you too.
You know, you welcome anytime. This is, like I said, this is you home. So
yeah, it definitely is home.
And also, though, sis, we're gonna need you on the 31st because me and Kay both are scared of
lions and tigers and bears.
And bears. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. On the 31st.
Yeah, you got a special guest on the 31st, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I can wait, but I can't wait. I don't know. I think our mouths are just going to be dropped, and they just going to take over the show. Because
it's going to be good.
Be sitting there like
this. It really is.
But I got some serious questions with that, though. But I think it's going to be a great, entertaining, and educational moment for a lot of people. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be fun. Sure.
Yeah, we definitely going to need you on there for that one. I'm telling you.
Oh, you know I will.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have ran out of time. We even went over time, but it's all good because we have fun and we love our family and our family loves us. And we got love for the peoples as our people's got love for us. So with that being said, we're going to be Audi 5000. We thank you for coming in to the nation of gods and nurse, Allah's mighty 5%. To all the human families of the planet Earth, we salute you with love, peace, and happiness. From me, DJ KY, and my co-host with the most, and I'm going to get him later on after this, Jahshamel alive, Mr. PhD. Q is on. And to our sister with the love of the Most High, we give her our praise. Lynn Meyer, y'all. Please get her one more time. Yes. And we are out, y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're trying to come to the end of the show. And I want to take the time out and thank our guests for coming on. Also, too, we want to make sure that y'all listening and subscribing and tell a friend and tell a friend and keep sharing because we're going to keep bringing y'all the real content. You know, so DJ KY, brother, take us up out of here, son. Peace. I want to give a big shout out to the nation of gods and nurses. To all the human you are the rise of those who do you watch and listen to the show. So every time we come on, I give a big shout out and love you. The man, woman, and child of the human, not first. It's time for us to disperse. We bring the best, not the worst. We thank you once again for tuning in to the real 360. We bring a friend to hit that like and subscribe so we continue to grow to bring more knowledge and wisdom to you. Upon our show, you make it possible for us to do what we do. Now it's time to end it just the way